Better Call Saul is back with its 6th and final season, and I couldn't be more excited. I have been counting down the days for season 6 to start, been rewatching some Breaking Bad, season 5 of Better Call Saul, and it's finally here. And the thing that I was most excited about was, another season starts and we're going to get that opening black and white sequence from the future, which I couldn't wait for it. And then it starts and we've got tires slowly cascading down onto the ground, and it's beautiful and amazing. And I'm just like, it's like just coming home to a nice warm hug. Like I just felt like I was in good hands, like safe hands. I'm in Vince Gilligan's hands, and I just know it's going to be an amazing ride. And it starts off brilliantly, and the tires are all falling. It looks beautiful. It's all in black and white. And then my mind literally exploded. I couldn't handle it. The tires started turning multicolored, and all these beautiful, sexy, amazing, ridiculous, colorful tires start just falling on the ground. And the scene transitions into color. And from this point, I was like, I didn't expect this. This is the only thing I didn't expect. What is even happening? I couldn't even comprehend it. I'm just like, I don't even know what to make of this moment. The fact it transitioned from black and white to color was so fun and exciting. And it was such a moment of just like, we're in the end game now. We are truly in the end game now. Speaking of end game, there was about a million moments in these first 2 episodes where I was just like, we're in the end game now. This is so endgamey, but in such a brilliant, amazing way. Like just with the opening credits for both episodes, which have just grown on me so much. I just love that every episode is like a different looking one, and each episode 1 always has the same thing. And in season 1, there's little bits of flickers black and white a little bit. Then season 2, I'm like, hey, it's flicking a little bit more black and white. I like this. I like the idea of this. And then as I was watching the show, I was like, I just cannot wait. I cannot wait for that moment where we get to the final seasons or the final episodes or who knows, and it's all just in black and white with tiny flickers of color. But now that we're here, now that it's all just in black and white and just the title is in color with the little flickers of color here and there, but barely anything, it was such a ominous, melancholy feeling. Like I was excited and anticipating like the moment we'd get to just all black and white, like we're in the end game now. But now we're here. It's terrifying. It's a little exciting, but honestly, I was like hit with this wave of sadness and just fear and just like, what is going to happen? Like we know what's going to happen, but what is seriously going to happen? And I was thinking, hey, there's going to be, not 10 episodes for the final season. There's going to be 13, like 7 and 6. And so, what the hell are we going to do with, like, those 3 last episodes? Is it going to be play out, like, 13 episodes with each opening credits is going to have, the scene, and then the last 3? Will they not have opening credits? It's not just going to reset and play the first 3 episodes, or is it going to stop at 7 and restart for the part 2? Just, these were the things that were going through my mind this episode. Just, like, opening credits. Are we going to lose a few? Are we getting 3 new ones for the final 3 episodes in part 2? These are the things that are going to keep me awake at night. Make of that what you will. So I took the fact that the black and white opening sequence in a flash forward kind of, style that we've been getting, I took the fact that it's now all color as, I guess we're going to get more of the flash forwards this season. Or maybe not this season, but in part 2 specifically. I think we might get like a lot. Like I think maybe the last 3 or 4 episodes, or maybe the entire of part 2 might be all flash forward, or either going through Breaking Bad and then getting to post Breaking Bad to fully wrap up Saul Goodman's tale, Jimmy McGill's tale. And I think that would be so exciting. And I kept thinking, are we going to have like the last 2 episodes of the show like all black and white? And no, now it appears now that we've transitioned from black and white into color that we will get flash forwards, but they'll be in color. So I think that's what they were saying with that, but who knows at this point. So in this flash forward, presumably post Breaking Bad, we've just got this amazing house and all these people are taking everything out of the house. They're putting everything down and, dismantling it and taking it away and stuff. And then that realization that this is what Saul Goodman's house looks like during Breaking Bad, which we never saw. It didn't even really occur to me. Of course, we never saw his house. And he's just he's renting in some apartment with Kim at the moment. So I cannot wait for that transition. Surely we're going to get like some kind of flash forward from where we are, maybe in part 2, to see this house and him living in this house. I want to see him go to the toilet in that giant toilet room. Every house has got like a room for the toilet, but this is like a room for the toilet. Like the size of my bedroom is like the size of his toilet room, and it's gold coated. The toilet's gold. It's too much for me. If I went into a house and saw that toilet, I'd be like, I can't go to the toilet in here. I can't take a shit on this toilet. Look at this toilet. It's made of gold. But That's very Saul Goodman, and I respect him for just being that much of like a pompous, rich, look at me, Saul Goodman. It's perfect. The whole house was so him. It was so crazy to see. And it's such an amazing way to start the final season. We have this big, rich, lavish house and Saul Goodman's at the top. But no, they're all taking and ripping everything apart because we know it's all going to crumble and turn into ashes in his mouth. So yeah, spectacular start. So in this episode, once again, we got a close-up of someone's hand and there was an ant doing all that ant acting that we know Better Call Saul for at this point. And I was just like, who the hell is the ant wrangler on this show? Because when we got that ant sequence where they're all crawling over the ice cream, one of my favorite moments of Better Call Saul, I don't know, such a little minute detail to kind of focus on, but so well crafted, so well filmed. And I just kept thinking, how are they getting these ants to act so well? This ant's just crawling perfectly over the finger, and I'm like, is it an ant wrangler, or is it just a very, very patient cameraman? These are the questions I want answered. Someone, give me Vince Gilligan's number so I can call him, please. So in the first episode, Lalo walks into this house, and he's all like, it's me, Don Lalo, and I just love the fact that he's kind of telling all these, like, you know, kind of villagers around to call him Don. Like, I don't think Don Eladio would be cool with that. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not all caught up with the whole cartel thing. But I'm pretty sure the Don is just the main guy. Like, it's just Don Eladio at the top, and no one else can call themselves Don. But I like the idea that maybe, you know, no other gangsters and cartel members are coming and meeting all these little villagers around his house. So he's like, I'm the Don. I'm Don Lalo. So yeah, call me that. Or Don Eduardo, sorry. And it was just so fun to see Lalo. He's just so charming and sexy and charismatic. He's all like, ha 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 ha, oh, we're all just having fun. Oh, how's the goats? How's this? Ba ba ba. And he's having the coffee, and it's all just really nice. And then the big bushy beard guy comes in, and Lalo has this power, this immense influence over this family and this village, and he's just like, I don't like the big bushy beard. Shave it, keep the mustache. That is peak. That is like peak power and influence. Like, my goals of life have been, you know, rearranged watching this moment. We have a scene later with Mesa Verde, and he's all like, and he gets angry at Jimmy. He's infiltrating like the golf club and stuff, and he's like, you know, he tells the waiter or whatever, like, you can't give him a tour, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you know, shows his power. He's flexing his power. That's not power. That guy thinks he has power, flexing, you know, his power at a golf club. That's not power. You know what power is? Walking into a house, a man who has a giant big bushy beard, he's been growing that presumably for years, and like maybe 10 years. Like, that beard is huge. It's humongous. And Lalo's just like, shave it off. And his mum or his wife or whoever, she's just like, you gotta get rid of the beard. Lalo's here. Don Lalo. That is true power. But of course, because it's Lalo, we have an amazing, nice scene where he's being all friendly and everyone's having a nice time. And I'm like, he's kind of like the nicest, awful man you could ever meet. And then he opens the scissors up, grabs one of them, and we don't see it, but he murders them both. And it's just horrific and brutal. And I understand why he does it, because, you know, he wants to pretend that he's still dead and all that stuff. But just don't walk into their house and get a coffee from them. Like, did they die just so you could have a coffee? Like, oh my God, he's so evil. He's so evil. That is why he's such a fascinating and interesting character. He's portrayed so well. He's just so charming and sexy and charismatic, but he's just so brutal and ruthless, and he's just such a horrible murderer, and he's so callous and cold about it. It's like, I'm so up and down with him. It's a roller coaster of emotions with every scene. Like, he appears and he's like chatting with Hector, and he's all like smiles, and it's like, you know, he's all about family and this and that. And then there's just a scene of him just murdering and shooting everybody. And it's just, I can't handle it. One moment, he's wearing a balaclava in the back of a pickup truck, and I'm like, that is peak sexy criminal right there. Lalo with the bandana over his mouth. Incredible. Saul's infiltration into the fancy pants golf club it's just peak Jimmy McGill, peak Saul Goodman. It's just peak Bob Odenkirk. Really, he's just so entertaining to watch when he just does a big song and dance and he's waving his hands everywhere and his mouth's just doing that, you know, gift of the gab situation where it's just like ba 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 ba, and he just does a whole song and dance thingy, and it's always entertaining. And this was no different. It was so much fun, and this season I feel like we're going to get a lot of that. Like, they are just going to kind of pull out all the stops for Better Call Saul's final season. We're going to see Saul Goodman go peak Saul Goodman with all his just snaky, sneaky lawyerness and the way he just knows how to kind of manipulate a room with the words and the choices of words. And it's just so entertaining. And when that whole scene kind of reveals what they're doing, and it's like, because of course, when they're like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to bring down Howard? They're going to frame him essentially for being like a cokehead, which, I don't know, like the whole thing with Howard, it's like, I think we are meant to kind of feel a little bit like, oh man, like, does he truly deserve to have his career ruined like this? Like at the end of season 5 when Kim's like, let's do this, and Saul's like, what? But they're doing it now. They're doing it. It's, I don't know, it's a super, I don't know, I feel really mixed about it because on one hand, you know, Howard, from the original part of the series, I was like, Howard sucks. He's the worst character ever. But then when Chuck kind of true motivations and true feelings all came to surface, I always felt like Howard was, yeah, he's alright. Like, Chuck's the real prick. Chuck's the antagonist. He's the evil one. Like, screw Chuck. And Howard, he's fine. Like, he's, you know, and they're going to tear him down. And it's, I don't know, it's going to be entertaining, you know, with the infiltration of the golf club. But it's also going to kind of probably be very devastating when we get to that point when presumably they are successful and just destroy Howard's life. Because Kim says it's just his career. It's just his career. The man seems like his life is his career and his career is his life. So, I don't know. I feel like you are destroying his life by destroying his career. And I don't know, it's really fascinating. I kind of love that they've gone this route. It totally makes sense. Howard's been a main character the whole series. It makes sense to kind of pit him and Kim against Howard for this final season. But trying to turn all the other firms and everyone against him as this coke addict, I feel like it's just like the first steps of like how much worse is it going to get. Like in season 5 when he's throwing bowling balls and sending prostitutes out to like harass him and stuff, it was all a bit of a laugh and just like silly, insane, harmless fun. And now it's like, shit's got real. And so the second part of this whole bringing down Howard Coke scandal situation, we get back to season 1. It's back to basics, baby. The Kettlemans are back, and seeing the Kettleman couple, their family back, it was just crazy to see them. Like, I had no idea they were going to be in this season. I did not expect them whatsoever. Seeing them both pop up when we see the big Statue of Liberty, the big inflatable Statue of Liberty, and I was like, it's a reference to the Thing from the Breaking Bad. Oh my god. And I thought he was just like, I thought he just saw the big statue and was like, hey, that's from Breaking Bad. I better go buy that right now. And I thought it was just going to be a scene of him swindling someone and getting the big inflatable Statue of Liberty thing. But no, the Kettlemans are back, and seeing them back was so much fun. Both the actors are just amazing. The guy with his timid, kind of shy, like awkward, just like, you know, very docile, like, you're just like, oh no. And Mrs. Kettleman, she's just so angry and so like, I deserve everything. I don't know, just their dynamic is amazing. I really like the idea of the Kettlemans kind of reappearing, and like they bookended the show with season 1 and season 6, and just, I don't know, I like that. And then at the end of the episode where Kim is like, enough with the carrot, I've got the stick, and she just destroys them. She just smashes them into the ground, and it is brutal. It is devastating. She is ruthless. Kim hasn't changed her name, but she's definitely not Kim from season 1. She's gone through the same kind of Jimmy McGill to Saul Goodman kind of descent into using all these kind of back alley kind of tricks and sneaky lawyer stuff, and using their knowledge of the law to kind of, you know, twist it in the way they want. And yes, the Kettlemans are totally doing something wrong, but like the ruthless, brutal way that she just like took them down a peg was just so exciting. Kim has become one of the most interesting characters in the entire series. She's the character that I'm most interested about in like terms of what happens to her. Like, she is not mentioned once in Breaking Bad. Like, not once. And I'm just like, I don't know. My perfect kind of world at this point where we're at would be for Kim to survive Better Call Saul up through Breaking Bad, and we get scenes of Saul running about being like, oh my god, Jesse and Walter, it's crazy, Breaking Bad's a crazy show. And then Kim's on the other end of the line, or in a scene being like, these bloody meth cooks, like, you gotta get out of this. And like, she's in scenes with Saul, and we just didn't see them in that. And then it progresses into post Breaking Bad, black and white flashbacks, and Kim is still in it. I really hope she doesn't die before Breaking Bad begins in the whole, you know, timeline of things. I just don't think that would make sense for the Saul that we see. And he's all like, hey, unless there's a huge time gap and a time jump between that, and I guess he's got over it, and just all the times he's crying because Kim's dead is like, off screen in Breaking Bad. But I would just love to see her through Breaking Bad in scenes in part 2 or something like that. That's kind of my like peak what I want from Kim, but I'm super fascinated and super interested because who knows, she's kind of the biggest wild card for this series. Everyone's favorite Salamanca brothers, cousins of Tuco, the silent, walking, murderous hitmen with the skeleton shoe thingies and their shiny suits. They're back! They're back, and this time, instead of being emotionless and silent, well, they're still silent, but instead of being emotionless, the first scene they're in when they walk around, they see all these bodies and stuff, and their faces, or at least one of their faces, was just so emotive. Like, he's just like, ugh. He's so disgusted and horrified, and like, I was just like, what the hell? Who are these two guys? Like, or at least this one guy showing all this emotion. He's emoting like they've never emoted before, and it was just like, oh my lord, it's so different to see how emotional they are. Like, they are just these emotionless, silent, murderous killers. And in this scene, we saw the most emotion they've ever seen. It just really stood out. The only time we ever saw any emotion when there was little kids in a flashback in Breaking Bad. But as adults, it always just like... And so Nacho this season has been completely dogged by Gus, and I'm so angry at Gus. Like, so often, like, I'm just like, oh, Gus... Oh, he's such a good character. Gus Fring, I just love him. He's such a good villain. I love Los Polos Hermanos. I love the whole idea of, you know, hiding drugs in the chicken stuff and just the whole cover. I just absolutely love it. And the performance is so good. He's always so chilling and quiet. This quiet malice about him, and I just absolutely love it. But then there are moments, and there were a couple of moments in Breaking Bad, but I felt like because by the end, they kind of pitted him against the cartel, and the cartel had murdered his brother in arms, just so brutally in the pool, and so it was all about revenge, him versus the cartel, made him sympathetic in a way that I feel like in this, he is sympathetic, because we know, you know, the Salamancas are pretty, you know, they're pretty bad guys, but the way he's been treating Nacho throughout season 5, and now, especially now, that Nacho was the man on the inside, and he's just not giving him a break. He's not giving him a break at all. He's throwing him under the bus. He's leaving him there. And I just can't stand it. I'm so on Mike's side with this, where Mike's like, no. We're not bringing his dad into this. No, we're not doing this. No, you gotta give Nacho a break. And he keeps saying, like, you only get loyalty if you're also loyal. Like, you've both got to, you know, give and take here. But Gus is just being an absolute piece of shit. He's being such a dog. I can't handle it at the moment. It's making me so angry. Nacho is awesome. I've loved his character from like the very first episode he was in. He's so good. The character is so amazing. But it's getting to the point though where he's so stressed and so anxious that it's just like hurting me to watch. Like I am physically like cramping with stress every scene he's in. Because just like Kim, they're the biggest wild cards. They're not, you know, the prequel ones that have the prequelitis kind of, well, they can't die. So like there's a little lack of tension in certain scenes. Even though it is always very tense and exciting, there are scenes where you're like, well, it would probably be more exciting if Mike could die in this scene. But I mean, that doesn't really annoy me. But with Nacho, this is a normal level of tension because he could die at any point. Like when the car's shooting and he's just hiding in the car in the second episode, holding those guns, it's just like, he could just die. Like, it could just be over right now, and Gus dogs him, and we all move on. Like, who knows? I am really hoping that Gus changes his mind and doesn't dog Nacho, you know, continuously, and Nacho just gets caught. Or if he does, maybe Nacho turns on him, but he'll still just get killed by the Salamancas and the cartel. So it's a lose-lose situation for Nacho at this point. I didn't really expect this season to be him, like, in Mexico, on the run, hiding out, like, no friends anywhere. Like, I just kind of thought he was going to escape. So we got another one of Breaking Bad's, and now I guess Better Call Saul's famous scenes of Hector ringing his bell in a long overdrawn sequence where he just kind of spells out a word, and I just love the way they're able to rank up tension and just build and build tension from a man who just like needs to like say a word, and just the way they kind of create sound and atmosphere and mood with that bell, just that dinging, Hector Salamanca's face as he's just in so much anger and pain, and it's just like there's such a sadness and an empathy you get towards him in these moments where it takes him so long to get out a single word or a single phrase or really anything, show any kind of emotion, and then suddenly I'm just like hit over the head with a giant bat, just being reminded, no, just remember, Hector Salamanca totally deserves this. Like, no one in the world deserves this except for maybe Hector Salamanca, who is clearly the worst man ever. Like, so often you watch on Breaking Bad and you're like, oh, Walter White, he's the worst man who ever lived. Gus Fring, bad guy. In fact, they're all kind of bad guys. Better Call Saul is pretty much the same. But Hector Salamanca, awful, man. He makes everyone look like dancing angels and pixies of happiness and wonder. Like, he's despicable and I just despise him. But this show is so good at just like, you know, showing emotion and character and just pathos. And like, you know, you have a scene with Lalo talking to him and Hector's face at realizing Lalo's alive. Like, just such good acting. Like, I felt happy for Hector in that moment. And I'm like, no, bad Jax, never feel happy for him. He's a monster. He's no good. And I absolutely loved the scene where him and Gus sit down the little like, and, you know, the other gangster, whatever the guy, you know, that guy from Breaking Bad, he's a lot like, well, we've had our differences, but we're all going to be, you know, shoulder to shoulder. We're all going to be gangsters together. Cartel, you know, you hit one cartel member, you hit us all. Shake hands, boys. Be nice. And then Hector Salamanca's like, it takes him 100 hours to get his hand up. They shake hands. Hector's looking at him and he's like, I know that you know that I know that you did this. And Gus is like, I know that you know that I know that I know that I did this. Oh, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? They both know that each other did this and it's all, you know, they know what's up, but they're not saying anything while the other gangster cartel, whatever the hell his name is there. And it's just such an exceptional scene. This show is so good at just having wordless moments like that are just so powerful. I mean, Gus Fring is kind of the king of wordless scenes. Like, I think the peak of that would probably be in Breaking Bad with the box cutter sequence where he doesn't say a word for like 4 minutes. He just gets changed into clothes, kills someone, gets out of clothes and says one line at the end. Like, Gus Fring is like king of like emotion in the eyeballs. Like, there are so many sequences where he just kills it. And this was just, once again, one of them. You have this silent scene. They shake hands. He leaves the room and he's like, Lalo's alive. Just the craft of this show. I mean, it's season 6. We all know how good it is. But I am continuously amazed, excited, and just filled with wonder at how well it's crafted just on every single filmmaking level. It's just a joy to behold. We didn't get any Lalo in episode 2. I don't understand why. An episode without Lalo. Is it a bad episode? Of course it's not. Better Call Saul's one of the best things on TV. It was all amazing. But I was missing that sweet Lalo juice just, you know, dripping into my mouth and me just being like, I could eat it all day. There's a great line where they're discussing the Howard Piper situation. Like, how are we going to bring down Howard? And Kim's like, it has to be well-paced. We can't just do it all quickly. I'm like, yeah, I think it'll be about 6 to 7 episodes of pacing, I imagine. Like that, I think that's how you're going to pace it out. Ended at the end of part 1. Despite being utterly terrifying and silent, murderous Terminator, Mexican killers, the 2 Salamanca brother twin cousins, whatever the hell they are, you know the guys I'm talking about, they are not like the most effective killers. Like, I know they're trying to, you know, defeat him by like not killing him, like take him alive, and they even kill one of the guys because he gets too close to killing Nacho. But just overall, for the silent deadly killers with like kind of the reputation I feel like I give them, there are so many sequences where they just like don't do their job properly. You know, like I guess Hank's the big one, but I guess that's their demise, so that doesn't really count. That's the end of their story. But I don't know. It was like a moment where I'm like watching them, I'm like, just shoot the wheels out. And then they do shoot the wheels out, but he still gets away. So, I don't know, like, just be more effective. They seem like they think they're as effective as we kind of put that, like, hype onto them. Like, oh, God, they're here. Oh, everything's bad. But he gets away. So, do your job better, I guess, is my point. I mean, I wouldn't say this to their faces, obviously. So overall, I found these first 2 episodes absolutely amazing. But of course they're amazing. It's Better Call Saul. We've come to expect perfection from this show. It's definitely a slow burn. There's a couple of things kind of, you know, slowly marinating in these first 2 episodes. They kind of build up to those last couple of episodes of the season, like it happens every season. But I just cannot wait for more to happen, and I just love how everything's kind of being set up right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I'd love to know everyone's thoughts and feelings and any theories for the final season.